第19集，谁在挡着我向前跑
？Nice throw, Meng Meng. Have you been practicing?
事实上，克里斯博士，我是在测试牛顿第一定律呢。我觉得你说的可能不对。
Oh, really? Please tell me about it.
有一件事我不太明白，你说过牛顿的第一定律说了，运动着的事物都会持续运动。你还说滚动的球会这样一直滚下去。
Yes, that's right. So what's the problem?
我的球并没有一直运动下去啊，它很快就停下来了，所以我觉得牛顿第一定律有问题。哼。
Okay, stay calm, Meng Meng. We need to be more careful in our understanding. Newton's first law is correct. It says that moving things stay moving only if there is no net force. Think it through. Was there a net force on the ball while it was rolling?
哦天，我把合力的事儿给忘了。不过，球在滚动的时候，只有地的引力和地面的推力呀，但它们相互抵消了呀，那就应该完全没有合力了。
If there is no net force, the ball will keep rolling for sure. But this is only under a scientific hypothesis. Now the ball has stopped, which means there must be a net force left. Only we haven't found it yet.
你是说，球在滚动的时候，除了抵消掉的地球引力和地面推力，应该还有一种力在阻挡球往前滚动？
Wow, a super science deduction, Meng Meng. You are correct.
那这个合力应该是什么呢？
Well, Meng Meng, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Are you ready?
我准备好了。
Great! And what about you, children? Are you ready to solve the mystery of the stopping ball and Newton's law? Here we go! Hello, children. Did you see Meng Meng throw the ball? It rolled on the ground for a little while, and then it stopped. Have you ever experienced this? Think about all the things around you that are moving. The car, the train, and the airplane, they all stop eventually.
克里斯博士，还有秋千。
Oh yeah, I've forgotten about the swing.
我记忆力可好了。你问过我们在秋千上为什么慢下来、停下来？答案就是克里斯博士，我给忘了。
You are a funny koala indeed. The reason the swing slowed down was the force of the air. When we're on the swing, the force of the air always pushes on us in the opposite direction.
对，就是这个原因。空气的力给了我一个合力，为我的能量武士们搭了一座桥，让他们穿过去。
Correct. Can you think of a place without air? I'll give you a hint. We've been there before.
外太空。
That's right, Meng Meng. Come with me. Look, Meng Meng, what's over there?
地球、月亮，还有人造卫星。那是中国的人造卫星，上面印着5星红旗。
Yes, the moon and the satellites move around the Earth. And although we cannot feel it, the Earth is moving too.
我知道，月亮绕着地球跑，地球绕着太阳跑。
Out here, there is no air, and so no force opposite to the motion of the Earth. So the Earth keeps moving. It would be very bad if the Earth stopped moving. All right, that's it for space today. Let's go back to Earth.
克里斯博士，为什么空气能阻止物体的运动呢？
Good question. Even though we can't see it, the air is all around us. And just like water, if we tried to go through it, it would block our way. This is a counter force that is opposite to the direction of our movement.
原来是这样啊，这就是秋千为什么慢下来的原因。是空气让我感觉牛顿定律是错的吗？
Correct. We call the force that stops objects from moving resistance. Air is one of the most common types of resistance forces that objects encounter when they are moving. Kids, can you think of other situations where air stops things from moving?
你说过风就是空气，风大的时候，我觉得我都跑不动，原来是空气阻力在挡着我向前跑呀。
Right. Wind is moving air, so the wind you feel is actually air resistance.
还有，爸爸开车的时候，风就会很大，那也是空气阻力吧？
Exactly right. And that's why scientists have to take into consideration air resistance when they're designing cars, high-speed trains, and airplanes. We said that air resistance is a very common type of resistance on Earth. But there is another common type of resistance force. Do you know it?
克里斯博士，我觉得我需要个提示。
Remember last time when I asked you to report on your findings while observing the soccer ball? We gave the soccer ball a little push, and then it slowed down and stopped. Can you explain why?
我知道，是空气让它停下来的吗？是空气阻力形成了让滚动的球停下来的合力。
Well, you're about half right. The air resistance always relates to the speed. That is to say, the faster an object is moving, the more air resistance. A slowly moving ball only has a tiny amount of air resistance. But there's an even stronger resistance affecting the ball. Meng Meng, lie down on your stomach and think about where this force is coming from.
还有一个阻力，那是什么呢？难道是小草在阻挡着足球？是的，一定是地面。
So clever. The resistance truly comes from the ground where it touches the ball. It's called friction.
摩擦力。
Yes, friction. Friction is the force that tries to stop the motion of one object moving across another. Friction happens whenever two objects are touching each other. The friction between the soccer ball and the ground created a net force that stopped the ball.
摩擦力，我明白了。所以说，摩擦力始终都在试着阻止牛顿了。
Yes. Friction is a tricky force that tries to stop us from seeing Newton's first law. Kids, can you feel the friction of the ground? For example, when you're walking and you drag your feet, you can feel the friction more so than when you lift your feet off the ground. And that's because the longer your feet are on the ground, the more friction you feel.
我知道了，难怪妈妈总说我这样走路会把我的鞋子磨穿，原来是摩擦力在磨我的鞋呀。但是克里斯博士，我冬天去滑冰的时候，就感觉不到地面在阻挡我跑，这时候摩擦力跑哪去了呢？
A good question, Meng Meng. The strength of friction depends on many things. The details can be quite complicated.
是这样啊，我不喜欢复杂的东西。
I know, Meng Meng. Let me tell you two things then about friction. One, the smoother the objects are, the weaker the friction. Have a look at the ski tracks. Because they're very smooth, you can ski very quickly. Or think about the slide at the park. It's very smooth, so you can slide down very quickly with very little friction. Number two, the more of the objects that are touching each other, the stronger the friction is. This is why it's harder to push a box than roll a ball. This is also why wheels are round, so that the car can have reduced friction and move very quickly.
对，有道理。我们可以玩个游戏来试验一下吗？
Good idea, Meng Meng. Now it's time to play a game.
亲子游戏。
Hi everyone! We just learned that friction creates a force that stops our motion. Sometimes that force is very strong, and sometimes it is weak. Today, we will explore this, and to do it, we'll need 2 large books. First, take one of the books and put it on the other and slide it around. That's pretty easy. That's because the friction is very weak. Now, I want you to take the 2 books and weave the pages together. Be patient, this takes time. Now, once the books are weaved together, try to pull them apart. Oh, that's hard. That's a lot of friction. Okay, isn't it amazing? Now, with Mom and Dad, try to do the same thing with a fewer number of pages woven together. Do you think there'll be more friction or less friction? I'm excited to find out. See you next time. Bye-bye.